What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Prime Video's new series Gen V. When I first heard that Prime Video was planning to make a spin-off of the Boys series, my first thought was, yeah, that makes sense. Usually when a show has gotten popular past its third season, which The Boys did, the network, or in this case, the streaming service, would consider either a sequel or a spin off. That's usually what happens, so it doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is that it took the route of telling the story about college students because initially I thought that it would be about one of the already established characters on The Boys and it would just branch off into his or her direction plot wise. But you know what? After having watched these 6 episodes that Prime Video granted me, going about the college storyline was the right decision. Now, whether or not this is a great show, well, I think the jury's still out on that one. I mean, I like that Gen V carries the same tone, the same palette, the same irreverent language and ultra violence. In fact, the graphic nudity and the brutal, gnarly shock value in this one pushes the boundaries even further than the boys would ever think of doing. Gen V is basically like, oh, that's where the line is? Okay, we're gonna move that line way over there and you are gonna take it. But at the same time, on the other hand, Gen V drags its feet more times than I could care about. Some of the episodes are not just slow, but they are also downright not interesting. I mean, I get that young adults have lots of problems, been there, done that, but the teen angst on this show are off the charts. And here I thought that they were not even high schoolers anymore. Their whole daddy issues or mommy issues got so mushy and whiny. It's like a therapy gone sideways. It's not even about the wokeness, but more than that, it just got too heavy too often. And I think when the pacing and the mood problems obstruct or hinder the mystery, which the show frequently does, Gen V is going to have a hard time retaining audiences' curiosity, let alone their attention. I mean, not until episodes 5 and 6, when the ball starts rolling again and the momentum starts picking up again. But prior to that, or leading up to that point, there were times when watching Gen V felt like a struggle. And after a while, the shock value becomes nothing more than a gimmick designed to snap you out of your boredom, and that's not good. Showrun by Michelle Fazekas and Tara Butters, and executive produced by Eric Kripke, Seth Rogen, and Evan Goldberg. Set in the diabolical world of The Boys, Gen V expands the universe to Godolphin University, the prestigious superhero only college where students train to be the next generation of heroes, preferably with lucrative endorsements. You know what happens when soups go bad, but not all superheroes start out corrupt. Beyond the typical college chaos of finding yourself and partying, these kids are facing explosive situations literally. As the students vie for popularity and good grades, it's clear that the stakes are much higher when superpowers are involved. When the group of young soups discover that something bigger and sinister is going on at school, they are put to the test. Will they be the heroes or the villains of their stories? Starring Jazz Sinclair, Chance Perdomo, Lizzie Broadway, Shelley Kahn, Maddie Phillips, London Thor, Derek Liu, Asa German, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Sean Patrick Thomas, Marco Pigosi, Clancy Brown, Jason Ritter, Jesse T. Usher, Colby Manifi, Claudia Domeit, and PJ Byring. The simplest way to describe Gen V is like it's like the perfect cross between X-Men, specifically Professor X's School for the Gifted, and Riverdale. Let me say that again. The mystery is very Riverdale esque. There's somebody's death that sends a shock wave across the community. All the while, there's love triangle, jealousy, betrayal, confrontation, and who's popular and who's not. There's lots of emphasis on the media on this show. I counted a couple of different interviews that the key characters had to do because some of them, especially their parents, want to capitalize on the grief and the outrage. The show is trying to paint an illustration about our social media frenzy society, but it's also a bit on the nose in its effort. So, in many ways, Gen V is formulaic, which is also understandable because up until this point, Riverdale is what has captured the imagination of young adult audiences. The superpowers are nothing new here. It's not original either. They basically took what already exists in the Marvel universe and added that crazy, fucked up, unapologetic factor. The Golden Boy is basically kind of like Johnny Storm or Human Torch, but with murderous tendencies. And there's a girl named Emma who basically reminds you of Ant Man, only Emma's way of getting big or getting small is as wild as her proclivity to find herself in blood drenched situations. Look, it goes without saying that you would have to have a juvenile frat boy sense of humor in order to enjoy the comedy in Gen V. But even then, I could only remember two or three scenes that really got me chuckling up. They do, however, have an unorthodox way of dealing with the character Sam and his mental illness. Some of those moments when Sam is fighting off his psycho urges and when he gives in to them are definitely some of this show's memorable highlights, which leads us to the actors. I gotta say, I'm really impressed. I am really, really impressed with the cast ensemble that they have rounded up. I can't speak about all of them in this video, obviously, otherwise, it would take forever. But the lead, Jazz Sinclair, gives a star turning performance. She reunites with her chilling Adventures of Sabrina co star Chance Perdomo, who, as Andre, is definitely compelling. Andre's superpower is my favorite, by the way. There's something Magneto esque about it. You know, he reminds me of Magneto. Um, the weakest link to me is Patrick Schwarzenegger in the role of the Golden Boy, aka Luke. Not only does Patrick inherit his father's cringy smile, but he also inherits Arnold's expressionless, robotic, clunky performance. I mean, it might work for action movies, but not for something like this where even the drama outshines the comedy. Look, I'm not hating on Gen V, okay? There are parts about this show that I genuinely enjoy, parts about it that crack me up and make me go, wow, they actually went there. But as I implied earlier, it can feel frustrating, begging for the story to again and again, please get back on track because the character's insecurity and identity crisis and parental figure issues cause the mystery to sometimes be all wobbly and sparse. So, yeah, overall, I give Gen V the rating of 3.5 out of 5. Hey, at the very least, the cameos from the boys are amusing. It's not a secret anymore, it's not a spoiler anymore that Soldier Boy shows up. And trust me, The reason or the context surrounding his guest appearance is the best one of them all, and Jensen Ackles totally nails it. So that's it. That's my review of Gen V. Smash that like button. Share this video with everyone you know. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe. Let's rock this.